Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is EduSankofa. If you're here for the first time, thank you for stopping in. I welcome you to my space. If you are a returner and you've been here before, thank you for coming back. I really am so grateful for you watching my videos. This video is going to be a little bit of a reintroduction to who I am. So this is me. I am EduSankofa, and I want to just give a little bit of a introduction video, if we will, to myself, and let's go. So, as you know, my name is EduSankofa, and I am a PhD candidate. Woohoo! I can actually say that now. I am a PhD candidate in education. I study higher education, higher and post-secondary education. That is the field that I will be getting my PhD in. And furthermore, the Doctor of Philosophy degree in higher education is what I will be earning, what I'm currently earning, what I will receive. And that's super exciting. So a little bit more about me. I am going into my 4th year of my PhD studies, my doctoral studies, in fall of 2021. I started my PhD program in fall of 2018, and it's been a journey. These last 3 years have kind of gone by really quickly. Excuse me for the light, it's like this light coming on me. Like the last 3 years have gone by very quickly. And I also presume that year 4 will also go by quickly as well. In the moment when I'm in the groove and I'm deep in it and doing the work, it kind of feels like a slog that I'll never get out of. But I look up, I open my eyes, and the year is done. So I cannot believe that I am really at this place of being at year 4. Each year, year 1, year 2, year 3 has brought its own challenges. And when I started my PhD in 2018, I did not think that I would be, earning my PhD during a global pandemic, a global panorama, a global panini. Like, really, what's going on? That's how I spent year 3. Actually, that's how I spent like the last quarter, maybe of year 2. That's how I spent the summer between year 2 and year 3. That's how I spent year 3. And now going into year 4, with whatever is going on in the world, I will probably be spending year 4 somewhat in a panorama again. We'll see, guys. We will see. Anyway, enough about that. Yeah, I'm super excited to start year 4. I've worked really hard to get to this place. I'm working really hard this summer. And let's talk a little bit about research. So I'm a qualitative researcher. That is where my heart lies. That is where my energy goes into qualitative research. And so I have spent the last few years in my program kind of thinking broadly about social justice, thinking about college equity and access. I've also spent a big amount of time thinking about college student experience. And when I say college student experience, what I mean is that can be college students at a 4-year college or university, college students at a 2-year college, college students, right, that are graduate students that are in professional school, earning a professional degree, where there is no further degree, right? So maybe they are earning a JD, or maybe they are earning an MBA, right? Maybe they're earning a master's to teach, an MAT, right? I also focus on experiences of graduate students. So doctoral students, students earning a master's of art in whatever, right? Students earning a doctorate of public health, for example, or sociology, or African American studies, right? So I think a lot about experiences of all types of students, and I also think about how they are retained in the university system. So When I came into my doctoral studies, I came from an advanced master's degree program. And whew, that was a miniature PhD of sorts. But not a PhD, definitely. But knowing what I know now, I may have thought a little bit differently about going through such an intense master's degree process. But at the same time, I wouldn't change it for anything. That degree program shaped me, taught me so much, and really brought me into the field, right? So I'm super grateful for my experience in my master's program. But that being said, I think if memory serves me correct, my master's program was 60 credits, maybe. And I think I earned 65 or 67 credits, maybe. Overachiever over here, if you didn't know already. And anyway, yeah, there's that, right? And yes, I earned a master's of education in higher and post-secondary education. And I also am now earning my doctorate of philosophy, my PhD in higher ed. Woo! So one day you will all be able to call me Dr. EduSankofa. Yeah, so I spend a lot of time thinking about Black students that are immigrant or international in nature, that happen to be from the Caribbean region, who are Anglo-Caribbean, from Anglo-Caribbean countries, speaking English, right? And I also spend a lot of time thinking about their acclimation to American university systems, their experiences with learning, their experiences with their peers, but most of all, their experience with self. A bit of what I also focused on within that student group and population was their sense of identity and sense of self when it comes to their race and ethnicity in an American context. Lots of students are coming from all over the world. We have a higher education landscape in the United States that is widening with globalization efforts and efforts to internationalize higher education. And as we see coming off of this year of so much virtual education, the landscape is even smaller, right? There's so much room for people to communicate and get together and have FaceTime, even if they are miles away and on other sides of the earth, right? So spend a lot of time thinking about that. And because I'm a higher ed person, I think a lot about other things as well. I like to be interdisciplinary. I like to pull from Caribbean studies. I like to pull from Black studies, from sociology, from gender studies, from disability studies as well, area studies. I also love to pull from writing and literature as well. So moving from there, I continued to also, but back before that, I also did a bit of work and some research on community college students and their experiences transferring. So whether they transferred from community college to community college or community college to four-year college, I often focused on community college students who are super bright, have so much to offer, but maybe did not match with the right four-year institution. Maybe they undermatched themselves. Maybe they didn't apply to schools where they could best flourish, right? So I focused a lot about that. I focused on the students that transferred to rigorous institutions from two-year institutions, not to say that two-year institutions are not rigorous in nature, because plenty of them are. I myself am a proud community college advocate and alumna, and I went to a very rigorous community college that set me up for success. So there's that. I also would say that I focused a lot on like what kind of agreements were in place for them to transfer, what kind of articulation agreements, who is transferring, what are the post-traditional students' lives like, what are they doing when they're not on campus or on camera, right? And so currently I am writing my dissertation proposal, which I can't even believe I'm saying that, but that's what I'm doing. And I'm super excited to be writing one that is near and dear to my heart. In short, it's really examining the spaces and places that impact Black women in higher education who happen to be neurodiverse. So whether these students are thriving and making it through and ascending in higher education despite or in spite of their disability status, whether they're diagnosed or not, or whether they didn't make it through higher ed and they had some kind of experience that kind of ushered them out of higher education. I want to look at those students. I want to look at their experiences. As we know, or as I know, you'll come to know that many students in higher education are, when it comes to disability, there's a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of room for work. There's a lot of room for rich literature that looks at disability, that looks at, disability as an identity, that looks at best practices. We see now coming off of this year of COVID-19 and 2020 and education moving so much to the screen that so many asks that were made of by people in the disability community were not met. They were told, we cannot meet those needs, you're asking for too much. And here at the same time, we now also have, all of a sudden we can do these things, right? That we said we couldn't do before. So I ain't gonna say no more about that. But what I will say is that I'm super excited to write a dissertation that centers the experiences of Black women who happen to be disabled, whether they themselves have a disability, whether they have diagnosis or whether they do not have a diagnosis. I'm not gatekeeping here with, you have this piece of paper and accommodation says this, or you don't have this piece of paper, therefore I wouldn't include you in my study. No, I'm really looking to get into the nitty-gritty of this glorious population of students that are really less often written about. And so I'm really excited to do this work. So I'm currently working on my dissertation proposal, as I said before, and that is what I've been doing this summer, keeping really busy on working on things that I need to work on, like my CV, redoing that, like working a couple of jobs this summer, like keeping really busy with writing with other people, doing some collaborative work, working on some other things, and that is all I have to say. So I'm really excited about fall of 2021. I just wanted to reintroduce myself to you all. This channel is all about my PhD experience, and hopefully you will learn something from it as well. This is a community for people that want to know more about higher ed. If you have questions, please drop them in the comments. Maybe I'll make a video on one of your questions. You don't know. You never know. So anyway, I wanted to reintroduce myself. It's been a minute. I hope to be making videos more often, of course with a schedule, because I am getting to that, stretch, right, of my degree. So I really need to be focused on that. However, I will say that this channel is super important to me, and I hope to be able to come back to it more regularly than I have done so in the past. Anyway, I hope that you're all doing well. Thank you for watching this little bit of a reintroduction about me. If you'd like to hear more about higher ed things or applying to graduate school, admissions, if you'd like to hear about financial aid, if you'd like to hear about hot topics happening in the current time with higher education, definitely let me know. I love talking about higher education. Can't you tell I'm a little bit of a nerd? I mean, I'm getting my degree in higher education. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, night, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this. And please do come back. I hope to have really rich content, 2 videos a month, and we're gonna be talking about things. All right, take care, y'all.